Hey, I'm Susanna Lanier, actor and acting coach for over 25 years.
I'm Jess Greenberg, casting director for over 10 years.
We're here to help you navigate this crazy, creative, and sometimes chaotic journey into the film and television world.
We share our insights as to what works.
And invite some pretty spectacular guests to share more ideas to move you on your journey.
So without further ado, let's get into the show.
Hi, everybody. So we're on video again. Woo, woo. So today we're going to be talking about self-tapes. And Jess actually just gave me some very interesting insight. And I've been asked this question a lot by my students. So I'm going to let Jess take it away now because it's really good information. So listen.
Yeah, it's a bit of a rant because we put it in the instructions all the time, is to send us your tapes, your slate, and all the takes as separate files.
Yes.
So I want to explain why, because I think it will help you understand.
Yes, please do.
And then not forget.
It actually just came in my audition. They want us to do separate files. While I'm like, I don't know. They just want separate files. That's exactly what I said. I was like,
wow.
If they want separate files, give them separate files. Like, do whatever they want. But you now, it's like, woohoo, light bulb moment. So
yeah,
go ahead.
I'm going to explain why. Okay. So it's not to waste your time. It's
right.
really, and this will also help you realize, like, we are on the same team, but generally we ask sometimes, most of the time, for 2 takes of a scene.
Yes.
And so then we get the scenes and then we have to present you to the director.
Right.
So if there's a take that we don't like at all, or we know that won't fit with the style or whatever, we could not include it in your submission to the director.
Okay.
Or if there's a take that we like more, maybe it's the second take, we could put that at the top. So the director will see our favorite take first, and then he or she will see in the other one, and then your slate. But then when they're all in separate files, we can control how we're presenting you. When it's all in one file, I can't control the order of the slate, the scenes, what we like, what we don't like, whatever. It's a lot harder, and we do not have the time to start like downloading, editing, cutting, re-uploading.
Of course not. Yeah.
Don't have the time. So that's why it's very important when they're asked for separate files to really deliver those separate files. Another thing about this is recently there was a project where we were asking for accents. And the whole debate is, do we slate at the beginning or slate at the end?
Right.
And I think, well, I know now my preference is really slate at the end, but really slate, send it in a separate file.
Right.
Altogether. And that's because if you're slating in your native speech,
right,
we hear you one way, and then you go into your scene with the accent. Already our ears are going to be so sensitive to the accent and listening in to be like, is this really Southern or authentic?
Good? Yeah.
So if we just right off the bat, our first impression of you is your scene in the accent, that's what we're getting. That's what we're seeing. And then we have your slate at the very end. If we, how do you pronounce your name? How do you present yourself? How do the blah, blah, blah. So yeah, for these reasons is like why it's really important.
Fantastic. I think that clarifies so much. And so again, it's exactly like you're saying, it is because you want to present the best presentation to the director. So and I have to admit for myself, I often only send one take. I'm like, unless I'm going to do the second one completely differently, if I'm happy with it, I'll just send it. But more and more, Christian and I are sort of discussing, I think we should do 2 takes. I think without the feedback that we're getting, like by Zoom auditions or in-person auditions, having 2 different takes is kind of the way to go. They always ask, and I have to say I never do it because I'm always like, no, this is good. This is what I want to send. But I think having those 2 takes and doing one that's a little different is always good, in separate files, like Jess said. And that is another question I get asked. If you're doing an accent, do you slate with the accent or with your native tongue? What do you think?
At a certain point, we were asking some people to slate in with accents.
Okay.
But I think if we could control like the order of like scene slate, if everything's separate, then I think it's okay to just present yourself as you are.
Well, especially if you're going to be starting with the accent, right? Like
Exactly.
you're going to start with the accent.
Yeah.
What I tell the students, and it's mostly for in-person auditions, it's not so much for the self-tape. I'm like, look, if you're a person who jump in and out of accents, then fine. Just
Yes.
slate with your accent, then jump in, like do what they, but if you have been working on it and you're practicing on your drive over to make sure the accent is clear and consistent, and then going like, hey, I'm Susanna, and then going, right, top of the morning to you and yours. It's like totally throws you. Don't do
Yeah,
that. It's
exactly.
weird.
Yeah.
So you got to,
So
again, I'm like the most boring note giver. Know thyself, know who you are as an actor, be self-aware, know your strengths. Sorry. I
yeah.
mean, but I do believe that. And I really like that separate file. So
Yeah.
that's a really good one.
And I
Yeah.
mean, for me, it doesn't happen often yet, or maybe whatever, but sometimes casting directors work with other casting directors who work with different platforms.
Right.
So I've been on projects where we do all the self-tape requests through Casting Workbook. Then
Yeah.
we have to download everything and
Right.
re-upload it to another
Wow.
platform.
Okay.
And other casting directors request to have separate files that are very clearly, properly labeled.
Okay.
And yeah, it's just for ease of viewing and organization. So unless it's like specified,
Yeah.
like, and also to reminder, like, before you start, read the instructions, read all of the
Right.
instructions. Before
Right.
you send it in, reread the instructions,
Right.
you know? And
Yeah.
yeah, just read the instructions. And I wanted to give more insight on the separate file thing, because I feel like once you understand why, and it's not like
Yeah.
we're being annoying or trying to waste your time with the uploads, because I know it could take a long time, that it's just, this is the reason why, is really so we could present you in the best way possible.
Yeah. And ease. I think that's what I try to say to the students too, in terms of the whole self tape. You want to make sure that you're evenly lit. You want to make sure that they hear you clearly.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's ease. It's not about giving them production value. It's just that if they can't hear you or they can't see you properly, it's
Yeah.
hard. So
Yeah.
so we've talked about that a lot. Self tapes. I mean, there's been a lot of discussion over self tapes, but there hasn't been this discussion about why you have to do it all on separate files.
Yeah. Good. Well, glad
Yeah,
I could clear that up, and then
you
it'll
could.
help all of us.
It will.
Yeah.
And that's great. Thank you, Jess. I think that's a great note for everybody when they're doing their self-tapes to really
Yeah.
remember that. And on Thursday, we're going to see Simon Peacock, and we have a great interview with him. He is the president of Actor Montreal, and he's been around forever. No, for a long time. He's been in Canada or Montreal, and he is a voice director, an actor, an improv master, and so he's going to give us insight on all that fun stuff. So Thursday, listen in,
Yeah.
subscribe to our show.
Subscribe. We're a
We're
video
trying to grow.
podcast now.
Video
Well,
podcast,
just our
everybody.
minisodes for now.
For now,
But
because
once you
they're unedited.
subscribe, follow, rate, share,
Yes,
like, all that stuff, maybe we'll release full videos of our full episodes
yes,
eventually. That is the goal. That's the
that's
goal.
the goal.
Yeah.
So thank you, everybody. Thursday, listen in, and thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.